Well, I've had about all I can take with the iPhone. I'm not that stupid. It's a perfectly functional phone. I'm not going to throw it away, but I'm going to tell you why I switched back to the Android. So let's talk about the iPhone and the Android phone for a few minutes. So about a year and a half ago, I switched to an iPhone, and I did that because of work. When I went to work for Cricket, I had several interviews, like I don't know, probably 10 or 12 interviews with folks. And when I had my interview with the CEO, Ashish, I was actually traveling. I was on vacation, and I got a message that morning that said that he was on vacation and he wanted to do the interview, but he didn't have cell service where he was at, so he had to call me on FaceTime. Well, at the time, you could not do FaceTime on an Android at all. Now you can send a link and someone with Android can do FaceTime. But I had an iPad, so I used my iPad, no big deal. And then when I got home, I immediately went and bought an iPhone because I realized that if I was going to work with people who were all in on iPhones, I need to be able to use FaceTime and so forth. And so I've had it for about a year and a half. I have an iPhone 12, a regular iPhone 12. It's not like the Pro Max or the Mini or anything like that. It's just a regular iPhone 12. And it's okay. It worked well. I made that transition once before, about 10 years ago, 12 years ago probably, and tried the iPhone for a few months. It wasn't like I tried it for a week or 2 weeks and then I gave up on it. I actually had a technical problem back then where the iPhone had a Bluetooth issue, and it was a really weird issue, and I could prove it and show them how it did it. And it had to do with when I was using a Bluetooth, or if both people were using a Bluetooth device, and if one person was in a quiet environment and the other person was in an environment with ambient noise, like if you were in a mall or somewhere like that where there was just constant ambient noise, or maybe I was at my desk where I was wrestling papers around, and that noise would cause your voice to get canceled out with the noise to the other person. And I showed this to them. I proved it to them. 3 tickets to Apple support. They closed all 3 of my tickets with no resolution, no response. The third one, in fact, I went to an Apple store. An Apple genius filled out a form that said it went straight to engineering because they couldn't help me. And that also got closed with no response, no resolution. And that was when I ditched the iPhone 12 years ago. So now I made that transition from Android to iPhone and then back to Android 12 years ago. And I would say that there's not that much difference overall. I mean, for the most part, you have all the same apps. They work the same way. There might be a couple things positioned differently on the phone or on the apps. Like on Facebook, for example, on the Android, the buttons are at the top. On an iPhone, they're at the bottom. So I actually think it's better. The Facebook experience is better on the iPhone than it is on the Android, but it's not that big of a deal to me. There's getting used to some of the navigation. Once I used the iPhone for like a week, I was fine with all the gestures, the swipes, and all those things. I can navigate around on it just fine. It's nice to have everything synchronized between it and my iPad. I'm not a Mac user, so I'm not I can't be all in on one platform. I don't know that I could ever be, because I spent 25 years in IT. I've been a Windows user for 30 years, and I just like the technical capabilities that I have on Windows. And I'm more comfortable with it. So I've always said people should use what works for them. And then a few months ago, when I started to revitalize my YouTube channel and started making content, I started using my old Android phone for the video. Now, my iPhone is a pretty high-end phone. I bought it a couple of years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. It is a OnePlus 7 Pro. OnePlus is probably like the highest end phone from China. You can buy them. You can go to their website, oneplus.com, and take a look at them, and they're just amazing. I mean, before anyone else was doing it, they were putting the multiple cameras in. I have 3 cameras. One is a wide angle, one's normal, and one is a 3x optical zoom. And this, like you said, this is 2.5 years old. I know that Samsung has the one that's like a 100x zoom or something like that now, and apparently the Samsung devices are just over the top great compared to what they used to be. I ditched Samsung years ago too because of issues, and when I learned about other Android devices, I realized how bad they were back then. Apparently Samsung's better now, but the OnePlus was just incredibly stable, fast. This one, 256 gig of storage, whatever. I had a brain cramp for some reason when I bought my iPhone, and I only got 64 gig. I don't know why I did that. It just must not have clicked. I must not have been thinking about it, and that was what the salesperson just stuck in front of me. I don't know. I would have never done that on purpose. But my iPhone's full, and that's made me revisit what phone I'm using. I didn't really feel like going out spending $800 or $1,000 on a new iPhone, so I switched back to my Android, started using it for video initially a couple of months ago, and once I did, I was kind of like, wow, I really miss this phone and the things that it would do, and I can't even explain it, but I just love it so much more than the iPhone. And like I said, I've been using this for a year and a half. The downfall that I'm having, the dilemma I'm having right now, is the best note-taking app. I've gotten used to using the Apple Pencil to take notes on my iPad, and the best app that I found for that is Notability, and just like the workflow, like how it works and all the features. It's only available on the iOS platform. I can't get it on Android. I can't log into a website and see my notes or anything like that, and it's frustrating because they should just make it for both platforms and they would have a lot bigger audience, but they don't. And so now I'm trying to find the solution that I can deal with and accept that works on both platforms so that I can take notes on my iPad and be able to log into another app on Android or a website and be able to access the same information. I think I'm getting there. I think I found a couple that I like, and we'll see how that works out, but I don't, it's frustrating that I can't have little things like that. Now, for people who are all in on Apple and they have an iPhone, they have an iPad, they have a Mac, they use the Apple AirPods, the watch, those kind of things I think are great for people who are all in on the platform and can do everything they need to do. And it probably is better than anything else out there because Apple devices do just work generally. They generally don't have problems overall. And it makes things easy, especially for non-technical users, to be able to navigate. I mean, there are people, I know people in their 80s and 90s who are using an iPhone and using it to FaceTime family members and all these things. So they do a great job at making things easy. Now, one area I'll say that the iPhone I'm struggling with a little bit is the watch. The Apple Watch, I've tried many different devices, fitness watches and trackers and all of those. The Samsung watch was huge. The thing was really big. It was like this big around and real thick. I can't do that. I have to have something small and discreet like this. A Moz Fit. Fitbits. I tried a Fitbit Versa maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it was like really sensitive to the steps. It didn't track your steps accurately. I rode my motorcycle to work one day on a perfectly smooth paved road, no potholes or bumps or anything like that, and it tracked something like 30,000 steps that day. Well, that's just unacceptable to me. If I moved my arm, it would track steps. And I've seen some reviews that say the newer Versas do the same thing. So I don't know what the deal is with that. The regular little Fitbit, the notifications just wouldn't come through all the time. Those are some of the struggles that I found with other devices. And Apple absolutely, without a doubt, from what I've seen, has the best watch, the best wearable, the best, it does the best fitness tracker, the heart rate monitor, the heart monitor anytime I'm exercising at the gym and I have my hands on like the elliptical trainer, tracks your heart rate, I can look at my watch, look at it, and they're exactly the same. Spot on, dead accurate, by far the best wearable I found, but I can't use it unless I use this device with it. I did go buy a kind of a cheap fitness tracker watch. We'll see how it does. It's been working okay so far. The heart monitor is a little bit erratic. Sometimes it would show my heart rate at 20 or 30 beats a minute higher than what the elliptical trainer did, but then I'd look at it a few minutes later and it was spot on. So I'm going to be watching that. It's fairly simple. I can't install other apps on it or anything like that, but it does fitness. It gives me my tracking. The most important thing to me is the notifications, which is one of the reasons I wanted a wearable to begin with, because I was working in the warehouse and office and I needed there was a lot of noise, ambient noise, and I needed something to just be able to alert me better that that I had a message or a call or something. And so far that part of it is working really well. But there's some other things I don't care for, like this morning when I got up, the face had changed on its own. I didn't do that. It didn't. I did not change that, and it did it on its own. So I don't know why. So I may not keep this watch. I might send it back. It was only $50. I know to get a good wearable device, you're probably going to spend a couple $100, but I thought I'd try it and see how it goes. And they're close. They could do a little bit better job with responsiveness and probably the accuracy, some of the monitoring. But so far, for $50, I'm pretty impressed. But I don't think it's entirely accurate and not as good as the Apple Watch. It's just a little bit larger, a little bit thicker, not too bad. This one is an AGP Tech, AGPTEK. If you're wondering, you want to check that out on Amazon. I'll put it in my Amazon store, but I have mixed feelings about these devices so far, and don't know that I'm going to find anything that works with an Android anywhere near as well as it does with the Apple device. Now, I also seem to be experiencing some of that same Bluetooth issue that I experienced 12 years ago. It doesn't seem as bad, but in certain situations when I've been talking to people using my earbuds, I use some like $40 earbuds that are Tozo brand off Amazon. They sound great. I use them at the gym to listen to music and everything. I use them for the longest time to talk, and then here lately I've had a few people tell me that I was cutting out and I had to turn them off and use hold the phone up to my ear to talk to them. They said everything sounded great after that. So I don't know if it might be something with the earbuds or the phone, but it seems to be some of the same problem that I experienced 12 years ago. And time will tell, because I'm kind of using them with the Android phone and going to see if that surfaces over time too. I am looking at the newest OnePlus phone. It's about $900. It's a OnePlus 10 Pro Max or something like that, 10 Pro, and it looks like a pretty nice device, but I can't justify spending the money on it when this one's doing great and working great. It does 4K video, has all the storage on it and everything, and I did shatter the back of it one time somehow. I don't even know how I did it. It has the glass back, so I did replace that myself. It actually wasn't bad to do. I was pretty impressed with how easy it was to do that. So time will tell if I upgrade or not. So we'll see how this goes. So yeah, I'm not going to throw the iPhone away. Like I said, it's a perfectly functional, working phone, and I'll probably use it for some different things. But I'm pretty set on Android as being the device for me, and unless something else changes big time. But pretty impressed with these devices. Like I said, when I pulled it out and started using it, I was kind of like, wow, I really miss this. It was kind of like driving a car that you just absolutely loved and you haven't driven it for a while, and you get in it and you're like, oh, I remember why I love this car now. I remember why I love this phone. And devices are kind of funny. I mean, Apple, I've said many times that Apple did an amazing job at reaching into people's personal lives when they put the iPods out and people wanted music. All these other devices, there were other devices in the market. Dell, Microsoft, all of them came out with great devices that a lot of people said they were better than the iPods as far as what they would do, but they just never took off because Apple did it first. They got into people's personal lives. They put things in their pocket that had Apple on it. And then when the phone came out, and the iPod that was just like the phone, the iPod Touch was just like an iPhone, so that got it into a lot of people's hands. And it was quite impressive the way they did it. And when you can reach into people's personal lives and make your device part of their life and get in their pocket, then you can be successful with it. And that's what Apple did, and kudos to them for doing it. But unfortunately, it's just not for me, I don't think. We'll see what the future holds on my device.